Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Due Diligence. And we have, once again, my camouflaged out colleague, Lee Taylor, here on the show. And we're live in our North Atlanta studios on June 10th, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
How are you, sir?
I'm fantastic. I'm here to talk about steakhouses, buddy.
Yeah, we're going to do a little bit of a pivot. We've had this spring, well, the last year of the podcast, we're just like anything, constantly evolving it, making it more interesting. And sometimes it's not as interesting to see us all the time. So we've had some really good guests the last few weeks, but we're going to start mixing it up, y'all, because here on Due Diligence, we go further than just talking about houses and real estate specifically. We are community experts. And I feel that I am because I've lived here my whole life. Very few people have lived in Atlanta their whole lives, and you've been here for like 30 years.
Since 88.
Right? Yeah. So we want to do some fun little segments and talk about neighborhoods, restaurants, and really restaurant is going to be our focus. Once or twice a month, we'll do a little pod on that. And one of the things that I'm really passionate about, Lee, is steakhouses, because A, I love to eat, and B, I just love to eat steak.
I think that steak is something I get on a lot of different menus. I eat a lot of steak salad at 6 Feet Under, and you don't think of it as a steakhouse, but he gets his meat from the same people the steakhouses do. It's a great steak salad.
Yes,
you know,
and
steaks.
You can get beef anywhere almost, but there is truly a great assortment of steakhouses in Atlanta, and I thought we could do a little fun comparison.
Yeah.
Today and see what our audience thinks after the show too, because write in and tell us what you or where you love to eat, your favorite ribeye, New York strip, filet, tomahawk. And I always think the first three that come to mind on the north side, Buckhead is the traditional spot, highest concentration of joints, and you've got your house, you got your chops, and you got your bones, right?
Yep, you do.
And then you've gotten some new players in recent years. The outlier that really is in that class that most people think of would be Rathbun's.
Rathbun's closed 3 weeks ago, Jason.
No, Rathbun's, the restaurant closed.
Yes.
Rathbun's Steak remains.
Rathbun's Steak is, I believe, not going to stay in operation, just STK. Just STK.
STK?
Yeah. STK down there in the off Peachtree Hills. You and I have met there before.
Rathbun's Steak will remain and continues to thrive.
Okay. All right.
I read the article.
Because that's my favorite.
Rathbun's went out of business. Rathbun's Steak, he was going to close it anyway.
Good.
He was going to close it beginning of next year.
Not good.
He only had 6 months left on his lease, so he went ahead and closed it earlier. But it was always slated to close anyway.
That building sold for $43 million that he's in. I remember when a guy named Taylor bought that in 97 for $1 million, and that building on Krog Street sold for $43 million. And they're redeveloping it significantly. So it was time for Kevin to go. It was time for Krog Bar to go.
Well, we're talking about steakhouses.
Yeah, man.
So we're going off on all these tangents.
I know. Okay, but they're also interesting. Yeah. I just love you say Rathbun's. That's my favorite, dude.
Rathbun's Steak, folks, do not forget it is still open. And then you got the big three. And then another one that's really come on the scene in town recently, it's been big in Roswell for a while, is Little Alley. You heard of Little Alley?
No.
So Little Alley's been great for a decade plus out in downtown Roswell. I actually ate there 7-8 years ago for the first time with a client of mine. When they bought in Roswell, they treated me to Little Alley, and it was like, shit, this is great. And then recently, last year, they opened at where what was that? It was a sushi spot right over there by
in Buckhead.
It's right where Phipps Drive dead ends into Lenox, and there's those two office buildings where Wiseman is. You know where I'm talking about?
I think
across
I do.
From the Phipps area, and there was a ground level restaurant. It was an Asian fusion or sushi joint. Anyway, Little Alley is there. In Buckhead.
I'm gonna try it.
And then crazy thing happened. I went in November, and then the next week there was a fire.
Oh boy!
And it's been closed ever since. They've been rebuilding it, and then it was supposed to be ready in April, and then coronavirus. So I don't even know if they're reopened. Super modern, almost honestly weirdly Asian feeling space, because I think they took some remnants of that other restaurant.
Right.
So that's there. So I think that in my mind, those to me encompass sort of the best. Are there any others that you could think of?
Oh
Is
yeah.
McKendrick's local to Atlanta, or is
McKendrick's is
that
a chain.
yeah?
It's a chain.
I think, and look, and I like Ruth's Chris.
I
It's
do
always
too.
delicious. I love Capitol Grill,
I
always
do too.
delicious. But I think that for the purpose of our little
about
nugget
Atlanta.
podcast, it's about Atlanta staples.
Well,
Are we forgetting any staples?
I'm not, and I want to mention that it's tough sometimes when I'm mainly I'll go to Chops. If you say go where, I say go to Chops. I really like the whole experience and I like the quality. I also like Lobster Bar. I like the fact that I can get probably the freshest food, seafood and beef. I mean, it's just the Buckhead Life guys really know what they're doing.
You know where I ate last night?
I know.
Chops.
Well, I also like Bones because I like to hang out. If I do hang out and like, meet somebody at the bar or something, they have a jukebox at the bar and their burgers are fantastic. But let me touch on one that nobody's talking about, at least Jason Wheelock's not. Marcel down in Marcel
Yes.
is fantastic. It's
I
a great
totally
experience.
forgot about
You got
Marcel.
a beautiful bar. It's a beautiful building. And I know that building real well from back in my days in the roofing business when it was once a U-Haul place. And it's been a transformation there. So I have a lot of sentimental value at Howell Mill and 14th for all the things there. But I do like Marcel a lot. I love the experience. I like the food. I did live away from Atlanta for a little bit in the early 90s, and I moved to Dallas. And Del Frisco's Double Eagle Steakhouse was open in Dallas at the time. They only had 2 locations. This is in the 90s.
Double Eagle's
and they're
here.
fantastic. They're fantastic. It's a great steakhouse.
It's in a horrible location.
It's not a horrible location.
It's in the bottom of the State Farm building in the middle of Perimeter Mall area.
Yeah, I know.
It's not done well.
Wait, when you're thinking of it, I'm talking about the one in Buckhead, right?
There's no Double Eagle. There is a Del Frisco's.
Frisco's, but not Double Eagle.
Double Eagle is like their upper tier one.
And
they opened it at the State Farm building last year, and it has not done well.
I bet it had.
I was always worried logistically that would be a tough spot. There's nothing to do around it. It's sort of this hodgepodge of commercial buildings right there.
Yeah.
And it's
interesting.
It's just not a logical place to stay and hang, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And we have a bunch of insurance guys going downstairs to Double Eagle.
Well, I'll tell you, I didn't know there was a difference between what was in Buckhead and the Double Eagle, but it's interesting.
Again, though, I think for the purpose of this, chains aside, here's my quick summary of the big 3 in Buckhead. Those are like the old school ones. Your Chops, your House, your Bones.
Yep.
Bones is the most conservative, and it's this Chicago-style feel steakhouse. When you go in, it's got the white tablecloth feel, and it's a little quieter.
Yeah, uniform waiters.
Yeah, and it's you can't sit at the bar unless you put your name in. They seat you, and you can sit on the outskirts, but you can't order food unless you're directly at the bar or in the dining room.
Right.
I love the food at Bones. I like to be a little rowdier though when I go get some steak.
Really?
Well, traditionally a steakhouse was a club that people went to. It was a men's club, but a place where people went to get a little rowdy.
I get that.
And then you got on the other end of the spectrum, I think Hal's Ribeye is great. And
it's more of a club.
It is. That's where you go to get rowdy. You go to Hal's when you want to, forget where you were last night sometimes.
When you're 88 and you're a widower and you want to pick up a young lady.
100%, and you can still smoke at the bar. Probably
still smoke at the bar. Really, I haven't been there
steakhouse
so long.
So I always say if Bones and Hal's had a baby, they'd name it Chops.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Because Chops is kind of a cross. It's not quite as nuts, and I'm just talking atmosphere wise. But I probably lean to Chops because you can walk to a lot of other places when you're done at Chops.
I completely agree. You can't really do that from Bones. Piedmont Road is still not that awesome. I mean, Havana Club's there, but is Havana Club even there anymore? I don't know.
Yeah, it's there.
I think it is.
Yeah. You should book a table, VIP.
I like, but one of the things about the Buckhead Life Restaurant Group is you can go get a good steak at some of the other restaurants that are basically coming from the same suppliers and the same chef techniques and things like that, same kitchen equipment. So if I go to Buckhead Diner, I can get a good steak. I can get a good steak at Houston's, but it's nothing like the steakhouses.
Yeah, come on. You're not going to get the same quality of steak at Houston's. I'm going to smack you. I'm more of a steak connoisseur.
The Jungle Thai steak salad at Houston's is dope.
No place that has something called Jungle Thai steak salad is a legit steakhouse.
Oh, I know, but I'm telling you, sometimes you just throw a little steak in your salad, man.
Tier 2, baby. Tier 2.
We might have some vegans on here that are not even interested in this content.
Well,
Did
that's
you realize
cool
that?
because they can listen to maybe a seafood podcast.
We're going to talk about the slutty vegan.
We'll do like best salad in Atlanta sometime, but probably not.
That's funny.
All right. So I will comment on Rathbun's. I really love, what's interesting is sides are key.
Yeah.
I think the sides are badass at Rathbun.
Yeah, they are. That corn that everybody loves that he's been putting on the menu at every restaurant since they opened.
And they're
main. Oh man, oh my God.
They're a fun bar to sit at.
Yeah, it's fun.
And they're the only one that's got the belt line.
Mm-hmm.
And they got this outside patio with a fireplace and porch.
Right.
Where you can, it's just, I don't know if atmosphere wise, in terms of the setting of where it's located, best setting of any steakhouse in Atlanta.
Yeah. Well, if anything, I have to agree with that completely. And no doubt the quality speaks for itself. His attention to detail, he came around in the 90s as like this super chef from Dallas, and everybody was raving about Kevin Rathbun. He opened his first restaurant to rave reviews by about 98, 99, it seemed like. And that steakhouse rolled out and everybody put it on their list because it's a great experience.
He's great.
And there's nothing better than getting out, getting a big full meal and then just go hitting the belt line, go getting some more drinks or go get some ice cream or whatever you want to do.
And
that's pretty cool.
Then washing it down with LaCroix because you're guilty about the calories.
No, look at me. I'm going to get one too. Jason, cheers. Let's just cheers our LaCroix.
Cheers to 0 calories the morning after a steakhouse. I will mention on a side note that Rathbun may intend to reopen Krog Bar at another location at some time. He's just not sure.
All right.
But his energy's gone into the steakhouse for years. Way more people go to the steakhouse than his signature restaurant.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
But it's easy to get them confused. A lot of people do. I want to add this about Marcel. They're the best at this. Their bread is freaking through the roof.
Okay.
They have the amazing bread that comes out. They also have a late night. I don't know if you know this. They have a late night menu that starts at 11 on weekends. I think Friday, Saturdays, might be Thursdays too. And so they have a burger on there that you can only get after 11 o'clock. And it's really hard to stay up when you get to our age for that. But it is worth it if you ever want to do a late night. And they get like a DJ, and it's like it's like a lounge feel converted from Steakhouse. And so go to the late night at Marcel.
Excellent, I will.
And then maybe go downstairs to Little Trouble.
What's Little Trouble?
It's like
that's their little bar thing. That's
like
part
an
of
80s type bar.
Yes, I've seen it. I haven't been over there in a long time, honestly. At night, I mean, it's just been one of those things where we're getting older, Jason. We stay on our side of town.
I don't know. You know what? One that I've been disappointed in
Steakhouse.
Yeah, and I like the idea of it because of where it's C. Elliott over by the SunTrust, now Truett Stadium.
Okay.
Truett Field.
Never. Is it inside the Battery?
It's in the Battery, right across from the entrance. And it's owned by Linton Hopkins.
Okay, cool.
Who's the Holman and Finch guy, Restaurant Eugene.
Restaurant Eugene.
I was really pumped when it opened, and it's not bad. And I like the fact that I can have a steak and go to a baseball game.
It's not a formal place, though, is it?
It's a steak. It's formal like Marcel would be, or Rathbun's. It's new, modern feel.
Right.
But it's a steakhouse price, and I just think it's a notch below all the others aforementioned. It doesn't blow me away.
Yeah.
But they got great oysters.
Okay, then.
They have an oyster bar you can walk up to on game day without going inside the bar. And they make these homemade ice cream sandwiches.
Jason, that's amazing.
Like cookie ice.
Oops.
I got excited and
I know.
Smacked
you
this
said
thing
cookie.
Around. These homemade chocolate chip cookies and ice cream sandwiches that you can get at the end of the game on the way out. So freaking sinful. Go to a Braves game and get marry one of those.
I don't know if we want to do that, Jason. That just sounds like a heart attack waiting to happen and a much, much tougher bedtime. Much tougher bedtime. You're going to be loaded up with like 90 grams of sugar.
Then maybe you split one. And eat half of it together and throw it away like the American you are.
Well, I'll just go in there and have a couple shots of whiskey and then drive home. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
That actually might be good. Maybe it's like a rum float ice cream sandwich slushy. Oh man.
Exactly.
Anyway, any other thoughts on steakhouses? I love these nuggets. Let's start talking about great food, because we are in my opinion, almost a world-class food city.
I think just don't call it a nugget, please.
It's not a nugget. It's a ribeye, medium rare.
What's your steak cut? What do you like?
Ribeye. I like a ribeye, medium rare. I like a side of taters. I like mashed I'm not a mac and cheese guy. I like mashed potatoes, but I like the hash browns at Bones. They have the best hash browns with the sour cream in the middle. Comes out in this little pan or silver skillet looking thing. But I always like a starch and then a green. Give me asparagus or Brussels.
I like asparagus a lot.
Or cream spinach if I'm really feeling it. Best wine selection of all the steakhouses. Do you know what it is?
Capital Grille.
Well, we're not even talking about Capital Grille, but I can tell you in Atlanta, it's Bones. They have the largest wine selection of any restaurant. They think they have over 10,000 bottles on hand. They have a separate building off-site that they store it in.
Oh, wow.
They have one of the largest wine selections you'll find anywhere.
Interesting. I didn't hear that about Bones.
So if you want to drink some interesting or good wines, that's the place to go. If you're a wine connoisseur, Bones is the place.
I get it. That's cool. Good to know.
I got I'm teaching you about steakhouses today.
A little bit. All
right, dude. Well, I think this gives our audience a little ammunition to go try some food coming out of coronavirus.
I agree. Yeah. And if anything, I mean, come on, steak's good all kinds of times during the day. And let's not forget, Jason, that good old Waffle House has a T-bone steak that they'll put out for you in the morning with your eggs and cheese. It's so yummy.
Folks, on that note, I'm Jason Wieloch. This is Lee Taylor with the Wieloch Group of Compass. As always, for your Atlanta home buying, selling, or eating needs on some occasions, or for all of your friends, family, or yourselves across the U.S., we know the best in this business, and we'll send you right to them. Visit us on our new revamped site, twgatlanta.com, twgatlanta.com, to listen and watch all of these and other archived episodes live. And we're going to be back week after week after week until the good Lord takes us.
Oh, yeah. Until the good Lord takes us.
All right.
Amen.
See you later, buddy.
Bye.